Alright, so in this one we have, as you can see, this is actually a color changing heartbeat monitor style thing. We have a gun with clips that go down. The shake effect, a little bit of the aimer. So we got lots to do, so let's get on it. So just in a Sprite, real quick, I wanted to create some type of crosshair. It doesn't got to be perfect or anything. I mean, I could probably put guides on though. Grid child. I forget how big I made this thing. I think it was 256 by 256, so I'm just gonna more or less make a I totally messed that one up already. So I want to change that. Why is my color all messed up? Lord, thundering. Alright, so let's just give it roughly a circle then, and I don't know why my color is weird. Something like that. Maybe even add something like that as well. And that's probably good. I'll use this. Oh, no, you know what? Let's get a little fancier, I suppose. I'm going to just... should have turned on symmetry options. I do have it on. Whatever. It ain't gotta be perfect anyways. Something like that. There, I'll just export that into Unity. And make this the camera. We'll call it camera system, how about? And I'm going to take the logic that's on these, and I'm going to copy it and paste it on here. There we go. And then I'm going to get rid of the logic that's actually on the camera itself. And then now we have this. So we need to make sure our set camera FOV, we're using this guy still on those, or else the FOV won't work. Now what this will allow us to do is if we make a FSM, we'll call this shake, we can now have an event, and we'll just call it shake as well. Why not? Let's just reuse the name. And when we do that, we can do various things. We're going to get event. Let's get event info. Let's get both things. Let's get a float, and this can be our time. Oh wait, no. It's not going to be called time. Our integer is going to be called time. So I'm going to change this over from float to an int. So I can use the int as time. And the float is going to be the amount, or call it magnitude or something. I don't know. And then we're going to come down here. So we have some information now that we get from an event. Nothing sends to this event yet, but we're going to fix that. So So what we're going to do is we are going to random float, and we are going to do, well, we'll say -1 to 1, call that X, -1 to 1, call that Y, float multiply, get 2 of those happening. Let's put that under here, and let's take X, multiply it by amount, take Y, multiply it by amount, Okay, so now we have 2 more variables that we can play with. We can now set position of the camera in its self position to X, Y, and then really what we want to do is we want to now put this whole thing kind of in a loop, right? So loop, help if I could actually spell loop, and the loops we're going to use is actually going to be our time, our integer, right? So now we have a loop and we have a done. So when we get this event, we collect our variables that we want to do this with, and we're going to loop, and we do a random, we multiply it, and we set position, and then we're going to wait 1 frame, because we don't want to be doing this constantly. We wait 1 frame, we come back, and we're just going to keep doing that, and when we're done, we can then set position again, also on the main camera, and we'll just go 0. There we go. Simple as pie. So what happens if we go on the player now, we create a FSM, and we call this one shoot, and let's just get mouse button down, and we're going to end up shooting, but I'm just going to send an event right now so we can see this and make sure things work good. And I'm going to send an event off to this guy to shake, but now he needs variables, so we need to set event data, right? And we could do an amount, so we could say how long we wish to shake this for, and we have how much we wish to shake it for, and then we're going to come back and just go here. Meanwhile, I'm going to stick these over here. So let's say we want to shake it for, say, 20 frames, and we want to use the full amount, right? We should now have this big old crazy like that, right? And maybe want to bring this down to like 0.3 and take this up to 40. And now we also starting to see this nice little shake effect, right? So maybe 30 and 0.2. I think that might be a better. Well, even the amount on that one might be a little much. You don't want your shake to be too much, right? You want it you want enough there that you can see it, but not enough there that's driving you nuts. Yeah, something like that, right? We just have this nice little shake now when we plan to actually shoot our gun. Part 1 of that anyways. So that's how we're going to set up a shake. So one of the other things we're going to want to do now is this aimer is, we will also want call this one shoot as well, why not? Might as well call this one, try to reuse them, and we'll call this one shake, even though it's not really going to be a shake. And we're going to we have a tween scale. Let's use a tween scale, not a punch. So our local scale, so what we're going to do is we're going to go from our current scale to a added value. So we're going to add the scale, and maybe we'll go 0.05, 0.05, and I'm going to change this to punch. And timeline 0.2, might want to make that a variable. And when we're done, we are going to want to do a tiny wait, not too long, just long enough. All right, we might have to adjust that. So there's a finish, and then we want to copy and paste, and we want to go from our current scale, and we want to set the local scale to this. Now and where the other thing I want to do is not have that as a punch, though. I'm going to do an ease in. Just do an ease in quad. And now on the player, when we send that event, we can also now send another event, only this time to the aimer, to also alter. And we could probably go a little bigger than the 0.25. So let's take that, let's double it, 0.1. Alright, so that's pretty decent. I'm going to go up a little higher, 0.15, and I'm going to bring this time down a bit, but I'm going to bring this time up a little bit. And then this one doesn't need a done event. And this one can be a 0.4, even a 0.5 even. So now we have this kind of effect where our, it's getting there. Current scale 0.2, 0.2. Yeah, I think 0.2 will be okay, especially if we start running an automatic weapon. Actually, you know what? Let's go a little bigger. Let's go crazy with this. Why not? And let's take this guy up to 0.4. Alright, so we start shooting. And if we can click rapidly, I can only click so fast, but It's looking better. Alright, let's save. So now we have a little bit of that. Okay, and for the bullet, I'm going to create a back in A sprite here, and I'm going to create a white, roughly in the middle here. Oh, whoops. Totally messed that up. And I'm just going to create what would be like a bullet. And give that a square as well. Somewhere like that. And I'll probably do a normal brush. Oh man, that is way too big. Now, if you wanted to add a little bit of grayscale to this, you could totally do that. If you really wanted to add some nice, like a really nice look to it, right? Like if we have just this kind of off-white. Okay, well first of all I gotta color it. So if you color it all with a bit of an off-white to start with, and then you kind of come up here and just going to select this and go up a little bigger on this, make it a circle, right? And we just kind of come into here, kind of go something like that, and then maybe a shade darker. And I'm going to come along here. And just give that just a little bit of depth. Doesn't need a whole lot. And let's give that just a touch on this side. Just a touch. Should probably bring this down, make this a little straighter, right? And then what we have here now is I can save this as our bullet. And then export that. Go back over here, open up. Where did that go? Export bullet. Yeah, it should be there. There it is. Sometimes I guess you just gotta refresh folders. So now, now that I'm in Unity with it, right, and I can change this to Sprite. And hit apply. I should also do this, no point there, and wrap mode. I'm gonna go on per axis, and I think it's clamp repeat. So in our canvas, if I make an image now, all right, we stick it up here, I drag the bullet in, we have this beautiful bullet, right? And I can stretch this out, something like that. And obviously, I mean, it looks horrendous like that. So let's go tiled. So we gotta alter this. I think that is there. Okay, so it's repeat and then clamp. My bad. right? And we have this kind of, now we got this bit of a thing here. I'm gonna bring the size down. I'm gonna use this. That might actually work. And if you don't have the sprite editor, go package manager and get 2D sprite. That'll allow you to go into this. And you see how like our box, our sprite is just a big box. I actually want to bring that down, you know, roughly a little closer to something like that. And now we have a much bigger and better bullet. And we want, I don't want anything on that axis.
I don't think it's that big red button, George. That would be too obvious. Oh, yes. We try to keep it simple.
Let's go clamp on that one, clamp on this one. Alright, whatever. We'll just go repeat then. I'll just change it up here. But now we have like a bullet. Those almost look like male genitalia. Whatever. Alright, I was going to try to expand that up, but I guess I can't. That's fine. I mean, it's there. It's working. So you're probably thinking like, okay, well, what the hell, eh? So let's say we're 325. Try to get that size just right on. And if I actually duplicate it, right, and we say this guy is like a darker color, and maybe this guy is, I don't know what color we'd make bullets, maybe a green. But and this is why you kind of did that. I did that kind of bit of a white and that gray scaling. It'll add those shadows. So, but still, I mean, it still looks kind of like a penis. But whatever. So I'm going to throw a mask on here, right? And now I should be able to you know what I didn't do? I'm going to take these both and I'm going to click here and I'm going to anchor them there, but I'm going to hold down shift and move the anchor points. And now I have a thing like that. So this is kind of like our ammo, and this could be our clip. Right, so the ammo size, we want to say 25. So for every, let's get 10 bullets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's get 10. Height 25. So it's roughly a little over 12 per bullet, right? Plus the 12 at the beginning. Right. Oh. Right, so now, what is 12 times 30 plus 12? Right, so that would be like a full clip, 372. If you had like a, oh, not quite. Not quite, we got a half a bullet there, so it's 12.2 times 30 plus 12.2. 378.2. 378.2. 378.2. Alright, so that's better. So here, if I build an FSM, and this guy's going to be our ammo master. So we have a integer, and this is going to be number of bullets, and we're going to have a variable. I'm going to put it in here so I don't forget about it, is 12.2, and I meant to do that as a value, and that's image size. So ultimately the other thing we're going to want is clip bullets. Could be integers. I guess it would almost be better as a float, but whatever. So if we have a gun, let's make an event called setGun. And that is going to get int data. Oh, not get FSM int, get int data. Get event int data, I guess that's what it's called. And that's going to be the number of bullets. And then we're going to take that, we're going to float operator, and we're going to take that number of bullets, and we're going to multiply it by our image size, and this is going to be our set bullet size. And now we want to set the width. What's the action called? Let's just drag this in. Rect transform. I'm looking for the width. That's what I'm looking for. I think that's under delta. Set size delta. No. Maybe it is the delta. Set bullet size. Well, let's test it. Let's just build a FSM here. Or you know what? Since we're already dealing with a UI, let's just do a button. No, I can't do a button because we have to send it event data as well. So let's just send an event to this guy. Send event setGun set event data, and really just the int. And let's give him, I don't know, 10. Let's use a variable. Alright, so now if we send 5, we should have 5 bullets. And we have 4. Oh, because we have to add that little bit too. Right, and then if we add, if we say we want 10, we have 10, 9. Oh, it's not quite there. It's a little too big. It's a little big. Now, if I was measuring pixels, I would have set this up a little better, I think. Image size, let's take that to 11.9. I should put this out here. You know what would also make this a little easier? Here, let's do this. Over here, next frame, go back. Now I don't have to screw around with it. It'll just happen. I can just play with the number. Right? So we have of course it would help if I did that. So we have 3. It just does that little extra too much.
There's a shortcut through the park. But it will be a nice walk.
But there won't be any magic.
Maybe, if we look hard enough, we might see some. Pepper and George have arrived at the park.
Alright, so let's take that down.
Yes, this is like the path in Little Red Riding Hood.
I wouldn't be surprised if we bumped into the big bad wolf. Hello there. It is Mr. Wolf.
Hello, Mr. Wolf. How are you?
Still just a touch too big.
I'm trying to decide where to go for lunch.
I'm going to my granny's house for lunch.
Are you really?
Alright, let's take it right down to 11. Let's go a little farther.
We'll be there soon. Very good. Oh well, catch you later. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
It's pretty close there. Actually, I think it's cutting it just a bit.
Mr. Wolf, in the middle of the woods.
Like it's almost like it's just a tiny bit too small there.
There's a little house over there.
I think that's good. 11.1. Alright, so the other thing we got to do though up here is add float. Add. So we want set bullet size. Now we got to add just that one little thing there to count for that size. Alright, so we have 0, now we have 1, and then we have 2, and then we have 3, 4, 5, 6. We could have 30 bullets. There we go. Right, so there is that's how we run that system. And now down here, we're going to essentially do the same thing, but this one's based on how many bullets we actually have in the gun, right? So if we have, you know, say 12 bullets, and we take this guy and we fire a bullet, we can come down that same amount. Fire 2 bullets, we come down another amount, right? So really what we need to do with that, then go into the ammo master and let's add another event and let's set clip. So the clip is going to take, and if we want, we could really actually just do this as well. It's not going to be current clip. So we have our current clip, and we could do the same stuff. Paste, and then here, instead of this guy, we're going to set this guy. So there we go. So now, if say we shoot, sure we have this guy. Current clip, so we have to set the current clip. So we would have our ammo here, right? So for example, we would, this is doing our effects. We could int subtract, int add, because I don't have subtract apparently in this project. And we're going to have our clip. We're going to add -1, and our clip is, let's say it starts at 30, I guess. And here we set int data and send event. So we're going to set the data with our clip. Then we're going to send an event to our ammo to set the clip. Then we can come back over here. So if we have 30 to start with, then we should put this to 30 to start with as well. Now if I shoot, alright, is that happening? Oh, we have that stupid thing happening. Let's disable that. We don't need that to be happening anymore. Alright, so now we have 28 bullets. And I totally forgot to do this. Current clip. There we go. Alright, so we need to make sure we do that. This is current clip. Bam. And we don't want it sitting there. It's kind of in a weird spot. Let's stick it, say, over here. We'll put an image of the gun or something like there. So there's that. When it comes to the health, I am kind of want to do I'm kind of thinking make this a little bigger and kind of do a spike up, spike down. Kind of one of those. It's a horrendous one, but we come over and we spike up and we spike down. No, it's come over. I almost kind of want to have this more of a something like that. There we go. Now I can, let's just flatten, smooth it out a bit, even though I think I'm actually making it worse. And I could use the line tool, but I just don't want to. I don't want that mechanical feel to it. Like, I'm okay with, you know, some imperfections. I think. Come over and come up. Right, and shrink this down just a little bit. Get into here. I mean, obviously you'd probably be doing this like a lot more finesse and detail, but you know what? I'm just kind of playing, I guess. And really, I mean, if you look at these things, like, they aren't perfect lines either. I think they're fairly close, but just not. And then the other thing I want to do now is I want to highlight that. And I'm going to bring in some grayscale. Load that. Close that. I guess we need to refill it now. I'm going to just fill this one with white though. And then I'm going to go to the brush. Go a little bigger. And I want, I'm just going to kind of fade this in on both sides. Alright, just kind of give it a little bit of gradient. And I know that doesn't look like much. I think the other thing I'm going to do though real quickly is I'm going to change the canvas size. It's 256. I'm going to make that 512. And then I'll save that as heart thing. And we'll export that. File, export. The heart. Shrink that. Go back into here. And let's go. We need to go to our pictures. Where the ever living piss is our pictures. No, I think it's in this actually. Oh, no, it's not in that. OneDrive. That's where it goes. Alright, so we have this little heart thing. You're probably thinking like, what the ever living piss is this crap? But don't worry. I will show you. I will show you. So now if we have a raw image, I bring this in, maybe we'll stick them down in this corner, maybe anchor them down in that corner, and if I now move them, ain't gonna do nothing unless we turn around and make this a repeat. And now we have this kind of this weird effect like that. But I would like to, if possible, now so I would need a mask, so I need an image. I don't know if I have a nice gradient mask other than, you know, this one sitting right here. But I mean, it's the wrong way. Whatever, we'll flip it. Big whoop. Big frickin' whoop. And I'm gonna go say roughly like that. Duplicate it, bring it over here, rotate that around this way. Add, oh no, what am I doing? I need a mask. This guy here, and we don't want to show the graphic. Now I need this guy to be a little different. I guess a circle. Oh, definitely a circle over that. Now we should have a little better of a it's a little too big. That guy is. What if I have something smaller I can temporarily use? I mean, even that. I mean, we're not going to see the actual graphics, so I guess it really doesn't matter what it looks like. It just needs to be small enough. I think, you know what, that one might actually kind of work. The heart, I should almost use that one. Alright, now we should, yeah, see now it's, you kind of don't see it. Now if that first image was a gradient, it would have a kind of a cooler effect. Okay, so this is our health mask. This guy's actually our health. And let's add FSM and let's set the rec. Could have sworn there was an action for that. It probably is somewhere. So what we want is the X every frame. Could even just call it X. Float add. X add -1 every frame per second. Right, now this will have a kind of this little heartbeat meter. So now I could probably find a better gradient mask to put over top of it at some point in time, but if we want to go a little faster, we could just up this value. Right, well, it might be a little too fast. Oh, 1.5. And float. Now, what can we do? Float add. I'm going to try to do, so if it's less than something, we're going to reset. Right, so it goes 0 and right at pretty much 0.5. It can reset. So if we're less than -0.5, reset. And if we reset, we can set float value x to 0. This is gonna normally I wouldn't do this part, but this is going to allow me to do a neat kind of a little effect. I think it's better at the -1. Right. So let's go -1. Okay. Now we could also here, what would we do? We would actually, yeah, let's do this. Let's go -0.5. Don't worry. Go here and have this one go -1 and then go there. Now you're probably thinking, what the ever-living piss now? This doesn't make any sense. But I'm going to make a new one called Pulse, new FSM. And when we hit here, we're going to send vent. And this is when I would play a sound effect. And so forth. It obviously needs an event. Let's call it beat. And now we're going to go over here and send beat. And when beat happens, let's tween scale. And we're going to go local scale. We want to go to that's not what I wanted. Hard to see with that white, the way it is right there. I think we should run it at 0.5 and go up to what? Alright, let's go. So I think if we were here at 0.5 and we can go up a bit, 0.9, 0.5 to 0.9. Right, so 0.9. And let's also kind of punch that. No. Now we should go, should almost make this one linear. And time, we go every 0.5 seconds. Let's try it really quick. Let's go 0.25 and go done. Copy that, paste it, go here, delete that transition, only now we want to go to say 0.5 where we were, and there is no done. And that should give us a we take that to 0.5. No, that doesn't look good. think time, I think 0.25 is probably good. 0.2 even. Take that up a little bigger. This down a little smaller. And bring this one down a bit too. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to alter this just slightly here and go a negative 0.6.
Daddy Pig is going to read his newspaper.
What a nice day for doing something.
Daddy Pig loves doing nothing.
Oh, goodness me, Daddy Pig. You've let the garden get a bit out of control.
What do you mean, Mother Pig?
The grass. It needs cutting.
Oh, I quite like it. It's a wild garden.
Mommy, Daddy, come and play in the long grass. It's fun.
Okay, let's all play with this spotty ball.
Oh, I almost kind of like it when it's right close. There's a bit of a pulse.
Now we'll never find it.
Maybe it is time to cut the grass.
Yes, Daddy Pig.
I'll get the lawnmower. I'm sure it's here somewhere. Here it is.
Let's go 8.5. Alright, so now we have this this weird, crazy health effect. Right, now the other thing we're going to want to do is have
Maybe I should phone
a
and ask if we can borrow his lawnmower.
an actual health meter. Right, so if we have color, animate color,
Could you help us cut some very long grass?
Certainly. I'll be over right away.
I built you the big sandcastle. Yeehaw!
Here are Holland and Japan.
health color. So if we have,
Because you've had your turn. You can play on the side now.
I guess it's right on this object that we're dealing with. UI set color to health color. For now, I'm going to put it on every frame. I'm not going to leave it that way, but right, because now we have this. Right, obviously we don't want black. We're going to say we're going to want green. And then if as we get injured or something, we can start to fade that one down. Start fading this one up until we get low. And we can start doing that. So let's have a sample. Such an elaborate way to do health, I suppose, eh? So we have this, and this would be our green. And then we'd also have a copy and paste before. We need a red, only red is doing the opposite. Right, value 1 here, over here, value 0 here. And now, red is red, green is green. And we sample at our health, to which we don't have yet. And then when we die, I mean, we could also speed things up too, as it's, say, pulsating or whatever. But say our health is now green and it's going, and if as I drop the health, see how it starts turning red? So, and then what we could do, maybe down the road we'll play with it some more, is as it drops, we can speed up that rate that it's going, and when you die, we'll flatten the curve and add our sound effects. But there is a little health. Maybe we could put a background to it too, maybe like almost a heartbeat monitor looking thing. Might look kind of cool. And my canvas is not, so it is on scale, on screen size. Okay. So heart, this guy, anchor here. Ammo, so apparently it's moving. Goes there, and let's anchor it to that corner. There, now, doesn't matter if that moves. They stay in the same spot. So then all we need is an image for our gun. I'll have to find some images for a gun. We have our ammo, we have our cursor. I think that's probably good for a little shorter tutorial. I guess it's not that short, but